There is a sixth dimension beyond that which is known to man. A multiverse, as vast as eternity, as timeless as the Infinity Gems. It is the middle ground between the big two and the indie publishers, between sci-fi and mysticism, and it lies between the pages of the reader's imagination. At the summit of entertainment, the dimension of comics, where a humble service is held. We call this service the Gospel of Comics.
What in God's name? Was the audio sounding funky to you guys too?
No.
Yes.
No? Yes, we can hear you.
Fuck you. Okay, so for some reason my audio's fucking up a little bit, but we'll roll through it.
We can hear you.
Fucking Discord. Hold on.
10 years in the chokey.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I hate everything. Anyway, hello everybody and welcome back to the Gospel of Comics. I am your host, the Church of Failure, and with me as always is my trusty co-host, Ayrton McCartney. How you doing today, buddy? Oh shit, we have an intern now. RuneKnight, how are you doing today, buddy?
Hey!
I have words of wisdom for you.
Yes.
From someone named Stabbiness on Twitter. The fact that champagne comes in flutes implies the existence of a whiskey tuba.
It's a whiskey saxophone, but yes.
Exactly. My response to him was ask if one could learn the Pinot Piccolo. Although I have since considered the shot slide whistle.
The Scotch harmonica.
I can dig it.
Scotch harmonica.
Wouldn't it be the Scotch bagpipes?
Yes. Anyway.
I don't know. Do we really want scotch in a bag?
Yes.
How long have you been our intern? Come on now.
I mean, I don't know. I don't drink box wine.
You don't drink.
This is true.
Alright, anyway, tonight we're here to talk about the new universe. So, neither one of us are going to talk about how we're doing this week. I guess we just jump right into the new universe, because
I just want to say,
okay,
these comic books have driven me to drink more, and after the show tonight, I'm not going to drink for the rest of the week.
Oh, like you needed excuses to drink, you liar.
Yeah, but I'm not going to drink for the rest of the week after tonight. It's okay.
I mean, the fact that you need to make that proclamation, you might have a problem.
No, I've got it down pretty good at this point.
Okay. No, I'm actually enjoying that Rocky Patel cigar. It was actually suggested by someone
nice.
other than you.
That is like their best one.
If we ever get around to making a comic, like a Church of Failure comic, and or one of us succeeds in making an indie thing, we need to like put on the staff Ayrton as cigar consultant.
Yeah.
I mean, that's technically already my day job, so
I'm just saying, like, as someone whose father died of cancer and whose mother is trying to quit smoking, I really hate that whole bullshit from Marvel about everybody stopped smoking on Monday because Joe Q's grandpa died.
Well, see, and that's the thing. So, according to the CDC and the FDA's own research, if you smoke no more than 2 cigars a day, your chances of getting your chances of getting any equivalent smoking cancers are statistically 0. It's like 0.0035.
Didn't Churchill smoke like 18 cigars a day?
Yeah, something ridiculous like that.
I mean, Rod Serling had like a 5-pack a day habit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's more genetics than anything. Just because you do something doesn't mean 100% like this is going to happen to you.
Well, we disavow encouraging smoking of any kind here on the Gospel of Comics. We just enjoy it.
That's how I make a living.
I'm just saying that if the powers that be, if the big powers of what used to be liberal comics who are now conservative comics want to assert that smoking and drinking is bad, even though they have characters that drink like sieves but no longer smoke, then obviously the action of good and forthright independent comics is to make their pages drip with nicotine and alcohol.
I mean, I would back that comic book repeatedly.
Moving on, new universe.
Ah,
So,
do we have to?
do you guys know anything about the history of the new universe, or?
No, I don't want to know anything about it at all anymore. Like, go ahead.
Okay, so back in '86, it was the 20th anniversary of Marvel Comics. Okay, so they were like, "Hey, what are we gonna do for the 20th anniversary?" And Jim Shooter, being the fucking genius that he is, he's like, "Let's stop printing everything and completely revamp the entire line." And
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
And they were just like, I don't know that we're going to do that. And he was like, well, what if we just launch a secondary title called New Universe that has nothing to do with the Marvel Universe? And they're like, will it shut you up? So
It sounded more like they went, all right, let's do it.
give me some more of this blow. But no, so what we got...
Somebody sent a female intern in here so I can pinch her ass. Let's get to work.
What we got with a line
Kick my ass, I'll beat the shit out of you.
I said female intern on purpose.
What we... Jesus Christ, you two. Maybe I need to rethink doing the show alone. I don't know. I mean, I know it's easier with someone to talk to, but it might be easier without you people.
Hey, me and RuneKnight will go start our own show with hookers and blackjack.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll crash that one, but at least I'll be able to get a thought in edgewise on my own.
No, we'll have a
All right.
list. We'll put your photo on the wall.
Well,
All right.
So, anyway. Oh, the 25th anniversary, excuse me, not the 20th. I was reading my notes incorrectly, but basically what you ended up with was a line of 7 new comic books that had nothing to do with the mainline Marvel universe. So you got Spitfire and the what was it? Spitfire and the Troubleshooters. You got Psi-Force. You got Night Mask. You got Mark Hazard Merc. You got Kickers Inc. You got Justice. And you got DP7. So, in true shared universe fashion, there is an event called the White Event. Why they got to be white? But
Should I put my hood up?
yeah, no hoods. Hoods are forbidden.
Toki, these robes, while extremely comfortable, are going to get us killed.
My hoodie's gray. I don't know what.
Is it pointed? Is it pointed, Ayrton? Are there eye
I
holes?
don't think so.
Look, the hoodie's not pointed. Ayrton just has a pointed head.
Okay. All right.
Because I have very vivid dreams.
So, anyway, moving on. With this new 7 new comic books, you had a containing event called the White Event. And what was supposed to differentiate this particular universe from the Marvel universe is they were like, we're not going to have any super advanced technology like Iron Man in this universe. And we're not going to have
they already fucking failed
Wait,
that.
what?
We're getting there. We're getting there. Hold on, we're getting there.
Okay.
But this was the corporate mandate that it came down to. They're like, we're not going to have any super specific, super scientific shit going on. And then we're not going to, we're also not going to have, like, gods and extraterrestrial beings in this universe. 2 rules that they immediately broke.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, on the scale of breaking them, they did err on the side of, like, street level, but Jesus.
I mean, So the extraterrestrials didn't technically break. The Justice dude was extra dimensional. Which, there's a few different letters difference there.
Ayrton, I still have my cigar cutter handy. Don't make me come to Michigan and use it on you.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I know it.
I mean, that is the least efficient way to make a eunuch.
But it's the most fun. So
Not for the eunuch.
beyond that,
I mean, I did send you an extra large ring gauge one, so that's good.
there was I hate you so much. But yeah, the thing was is this was supposed to be like a super hyper realistic setting, and it was supposed to be the world outside your window. And in that vein, they had all agreed that time would pass in real time in between issues, right? So every issue was supposed to take place a month after the previous issue.
What?
Yeah,
I mean, that's a noble experiment.
that's exactly what it was. It was an experiment that lasted from 1986 to 1989.
Well, I mean,
It
people
lasted
find
3 years.
3 years.
well, I mean,
3
people watch,
years of this bullshit.
Yes.
and man, people watched 5 seasons of 24. So
Hey, 24 was better than this bullshit.
I'm just saying that contextually, the theory of a series of comic books that are real time is not impossible. It's just incredibly unlikely.
But you have to do it well.
Yeah.
Now, there are a couple. Should we talk about the comics before we talk about why the comics are so bad, or should we talk about why they're bad and then talk about them?
Can I just rant for a second?
Sure.
Okay. Buckle in, RuneKnight.
Here we go.
Why in the fuck do you still let me pick goddamn comics to read, especially when you know how bad they are?
Because it's fun.
Fish penis. Now it's this goddamn shit. Fucking football player jockheads that stick themselves in some sort of machine and get injected by some sort of radioactive jizz. I don't know what the fuck, to run around really fast. What the fuck? Why do you still let me do this?
Because it's entertaining to me.
Definitionally, it's because Church is a sadist, and because you're a masochist.
No, because I was ignorant of this. And he even said
No, Ayrton,
Ayrton,
the window for ignorance has passed.
No.
If you had said the first time you were given this opportunity and you selected fish penis and it was horrifying, you were ignorant. Now you know better because it's happened to you before. Now you have no excuse. You're responsible, except that you enjoy it when Church whips you with bad comics.
See, fish penis, that was a fluke. That was just a dumb fluke. If I do it another,
a fluke is a fin, a penis is a penis. You should know these two things are separate.
If I do it a third time, that's not me. I'm just gonna point that out because we're live on air and Church is like, "Hey, you want to read some terrible comics?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm thinking like horrible '80s B movies, right?"
That's exactly what this was, in my opinion.
After we've already committed to doing these goddamn snooze fest of books that makes me want to Kurt Cobain myself. And then after we get off air, he's like, "By the way, these are not terrible in the way you're going to enjoy. You're going to hate yourself." I'm like, "God damn it!"
So now that you've had your rant, before we get into the particulars of any books, because my opinion is going to be the contentious one, and therefore is an excellent counterpoint. I will agree. These books are not particularly good. However, they're not super bad, and that's worse.
Yeah.
Because if they were bad, if they were like, set them on fire, bad, we'd be okay. We'd be like, oh yeah, this is shit, and just throw it away. No, they're just good enough that like with maybe 3 weeks more work a piece, they could have been excellent.
Yeah, they had potential at one point. Well, and we'll get into that after we talk about them. But RuneKnight, you read everything, and Ayrton, you read what, 5 of the 7?
Yeah, and I read half of the other 2.
Okay, so let's talk about which ones we liked and which ones we didn't.
Like, are we gonna grade them? Are we gonna make a scale?
No. Let's just pick which one that we want to start off with, because of the 7, I honestly think that Night Mask and DP7 were the best 2. Mark Hazard was a close second. So.
See, my favorite was Justice, just because that one was bizarre and just like batshit crazy enough to keep my interest, and DP7 just because that was the first one I read.
Okay.
And so I was kind of like, okay, what's going on here?
All right.
Sort of thing.
Rune, what about you, buddy?
Okay, so here's the thing. In order to say what one I think is the best, I need to clarify something about the structure of these books.
Okay.
You have, I want to say 4 books that are single
The
hero.
same damn thing.
No, they're specifically single hero.
Oh.
Yep.
Right? And obviously, the guys at Marvel have experience with doing single hero books.
Right.
Right? And then you have several what are basically Burger King kid books or Captain Planet style books with the very special mixed bag team
well, let's clarify here. You've got Justice, which is a single hero book. You've got Night Mask, which is a single hero book, and Spitfire is basically a single hero book, but you've got a supporting cast that's a little more involved than the other books.
Yeah.
Where
Mark Hazard is also technically a single book, though it's
it's a G.I. Joe style book. I think it's a G.I. Joe style book.
I was thinking it was a Punisher with less scruples.
No, because honestly, I cared more about Mal by the end of that book than I did Mark Hazard.
Yeah, the important point that I'm bringing up is that it's very obvious to me that the writers had experience with one style of book and not so much with the other. Because their team books are a lot thinner, and not just because they have to spread time across multiple characters and multiple personalities, but also those personalities are so paper thin standard.
Okay,
it's the 5-man band, it's the quarterback, the chick, the jock, and the whiner plus nerd, and it just. It's very Saturday morning cartoon and not very well done, and none of them are very likable.
Was everyone else confused in the opening bit of Spitfire with the one guy that's supposed to be a student that was dressed like a professor?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, that was a little. But
that took me so long to understand what was going on in those 2 pages.
We'll point that critique out, but we'll explain why that happened later on.
But the reason I say this is because I actually agree with Ayrton. I think Justice is probably the best book.
Okay.
If I gave Night Mask another read, I might like it, but I found it was really kind of all over the place.
Right.
And I liked Mark Hazard. I actually liked Mark Hazard pretty solid.
I did too.
Of the set of heroes, I don't know, man. The Psi-Force and DP7 is a little wanky. Spitfire's pretty solid. The kickers, man, the kickers gotta go.
Kickers gotta go.
The kickers are the worst.
That was the worst.
Yeah, we can all agree that the kickers is the bottom of the barrel.
And you know what the worst part is? The worst part is I've seen that before in an animated format. Have you guys ever seen King Arthur and the Knights of I want to say Knights of the Realm? Literally, a football team is on their way from a football.
Oh, they
gig.
Get transported
they get transported to Camelot, and it's a terrible Transformer style Camelot. Everybody has like their own specific mechanism of combat, and none of the knightly overtones. But of course, the football team are the good guys because they're the football team and they're to be trusted. Yes.
Right. No, you understand. You got it.
Yeah, it's like that's why kickers is terrible.
So let's just go alphabetically then, as we talk about these books individually and allow people to kind of get an idea as to what the fuck is going on.
Okay.
So DP7, which is Displaced Paranormal 7. Now, a little bit of backstory. When this book was being created, the writer took every Marvel super team he could think of and put them on a board and said, I want to do something that is not this. Any of this.
Well, he accomplished that.
I'm saying, like, when you're doing that, you look at every successful book you've ever put out and said, I don't want to do any of these things.
No.
So that makes me think of those back in high school, the fucking obnoxious ass quirky hipster like folk musicians from around the area that I grew up. Like, oh yeah, I want to like play music, but I'm not going to do anything like this so it actually sounds good. I'm going to do this weird shit that sounds like ass and makes everybody want to stab themselves with their goddamn gluten-free vegan biscottis.
Yeah. Anyway, DP7 starts out, and you're introduced to a character who was affected by the white event, and he's basically turned into fucking Sasquatch. Is that fair? Is that correct?
Honestly, I read all of his dialogue in your voice, by the way.
I gotta ask.
Just
Do you mean
being honest?
Do you mean the superhero Sasquatch, or do you mean the actual Bigfoot?
The actual Bigfoot.
Okay. Because no, I kept reading it, and I kept expecting him to reveal that he was like a dwarf from Asgard.
Yeah.
Big hairy dude in a bathrobe because he can't wear pants, who's bald.
Right.
Yeah, but no, I totally read all of his dialogue in your voice.
I'm okay with that.
I think that got me through reading the book, actually.
Yeah. So his thing is, his name is David Landers, right? And he has no idea why these things are happening to him, but over the last 2 weeks, he's basically gained almost 300 pounds of muscle. So, he's the big guy you see.
What's he complaining about?
Well, apparently every time he eats, his muscles expand, and that causes him excruciating pain.
I mean, that'd do it.
So, this doctor is able to calm him down, and in the process, he gets some ghost hands coming out of his torso that nobody else sees. And it's really interesting. I don't really understand why they put that in there, but anyway, the doctor's name is Randy, and he's affected by the white event, but doesn't know it yet. But in talking to his boss, the out of body experience you see takes place. What is that? Page 7. Let me pull that up here. So yeah, you get a full shot of the, what do they call him? The inner spook.
I thought they called him what was it? It was like it was something stupid.
Here's the thing, Church. You say that this was created by someone taking a bunch of Marvel books and going, I want to do everything but this.
Well, Marvel team books specifically.
Right. What I think happened is some guy walked into the bullpen one day with a stack of Doom Patrol and said, I want to
do this.
Right. And they were like, well, how can we do this? This is a known property. This is copywritten. And somebody who was being a smartass took a fat permanent marker, right, like a blackout pen, and just crossed out and a troll,
and then wrote 7
and said DP. And they're like, well, yeah, there's 5 members of the Doom Patrol, and then they just put a big fucking 7 next to it, and boom, DP7 was born. Because the thing is that, well, none of these characters are particularly bad. In fact, at least one of these characters is really neat. I like the idea of the Medusa with the paralytic powers. That's an old lady. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right? They're not very original. Their visuals are all over the place. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And a lot of their dynamic is just straight up Doom Patrol. We're the X-Men, but we're weird.
Right. So eventually, both the Doctor and the Sasquatch are led to a clinic, which that's what, page 13.
They're led to Charles Xavier School for Gifted Mutants.
Right. Where
that's exactly what I was thinking when I read this.
Where they meet the aforementioned Medusa, who can paralyze people and slow them down. They meet a woman who apparently sticks to things, like she has no purpose in this book whatsoever. They meet a man who is in perpetual motion, like he can't stop moving unless he's near the Medusa that can paralyze people.
I just want to know, why doesn't he wear a real pair of pants? Why is he
You
going?
gotta wear those
Why is he
70s
going?
shorts where your
why is
balls
he-
might pop out.
Yeah, but these aren't even sports shorts. These are like
oh, they are. Those are
lingerie
runner. Those are runner shorts from the late '60s and early '70s.
I just thought he was wearing like a woman's crop top and like some tight,
No, man, that's
men's
70s
lingerie.
aesthetic. That is 70s aesthetic all day long.
Have you not seen the video?
Well, yeah, but then you have the other guy who
Olympic
apparently
activity?
has the
Oh yeah,
acid
Yeah,
skin, and he's very 80s.
yeah, too cool for school.
Yeah, too cool for school. Who you can't
AKA
touch 'cause he's
Scuzz.
super
The guy
80s.
calls himself Scuzz.
Yeah, and the thing is,
That's
he's
what you did in the 80s.
well, that's the thing. He's super 80s because he's the one wearing the sunglasses with the 80s curl, and
don't forget the denim sleeveless
right
vest
denim sleeves.
jacket thing.
And most important thing, Marvel before 2000, he is smoking a cigarette. That's how you know he's a badass.
Right. Well, not only that, but they actually did something really interesting with him, and they actually said on panel that because of his powers, every couple of days his clothes disintegrate. And I'm like, motherfucker, you don't change clothes at least once a day?
Okay, thank you.
Well, I mean, I think the intimation is that it like damages the molecular bond. So even if he does change clothes daily, he has to be a huge clothes horse because all of his shit's falling apart.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have that affliction, you will just wear clothes till they disintegrate around you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's also an excuse for him to have like up to the moment tears on all of his jeans.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, I wear my underwear until they can stand up on their own.
So we all knew that. But then you
Ayrton,
also have a
Ayrton, you're not going to get superpowers, man.
Damn it!
You also have the chick that can heal people and ease their pain or whatever, and she actually heals David's muscular pain in the process.
Can I just point out?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can I just point out how many in these team books do characters have the same goddamn powers?
What do you mean?
So like that chick and the healing, same with the hawk people.
Oh yeah.
There's also both in this book and that book. There's both somebody that can essentially astrally project. Just
well. And here's the thing: there was no like delineation. And we're going to talk about this after the book, so hold that thought.
Okay.
But basically, they find out that the clinic they're at is bad, and the doctor that is treating them is evil and can neutralize their powers as long as they're physical, except for the doctor with the spaceman inside his chest. And that guy saves the day, and then David overcomes his muscular pain and knocks the guy out, and they all escape. And that's the end of book 1.
Can we mention while we're kicking around various traits of what's wrong with this book? So, I ain't gonna go so just on anyone, but I do find it very interesting that the girl that can heal everyone is an apple pie mom and pop blonde with the Betty and Veronica hairband.
And let's not lay her hands on me and try and heal.
Well, let's not forget. Good point, Ayrton, because David pretty much instantly falls in love with her, which is very Marvel of the time. Right. Because later, or was it earlier in Secret Wars? There's a Secret Wars reference, folks.
God damn it,
Sashi on Battle World actually heals people and makes them fall in love with her.
But then the other end of the spectrum is one of our two characters of color, not that it matters, is the girl who can stick to walls and has like some kind of weird energy power by the art, right?
Is that really is that a racial...
Well, no, the thing is that she's... No, my point is that what she's wearing is basically a ripped crop top and the low riding pants with the Storm belt, right?
Yeah,
this is probably the same time as Storm had the mohawk, right? So just so we're clear, you have white girl who is as homebred as you can get, juxtaposed with black wild woman.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's like the creators
God.
might
Oh God!
realize what they were inferring.
If they brought this book back today, do you realize the implication of having a black man that couldn't stop moving because he's constantly jogging?
Well, first of all,
Sorry, what was that?
Well, first of all, how else is he going to avoid the cops, even though he's, intangible, and therefore the bullets will go right through him? And in the second, it's not their fault that he won't put down that TV.
Do you realize the implications if they brought this back? It would be terrible. Oh
No.
my God! But
No, the implications of the black kid in the hawk thing sitting there just casually spinning a basketball in his finger.
well, we're not to Tyrone and Psyops yet.
Psyops is
moving-
gonna be a chapter.
We're gonna move on to Justice real quick, which you guys really seem to like. I enjoyed it, but
it was so weird.
But it wasn't really like, I think it was the I don't know. It was just the all over the place nature of it. Like, this is my sword and this is my shield, but I have to take my gloves off.
It was so bizarre and just all over the place.
So who wants to volunteer to walk us through this fucking tragedy?
Well, I'm terrible at it, so really
I will walk you through it because I wanna gabble about it. But first things first, I just gotta throw out there. Part of the problem with this book, and indeed all these books, is that the art is bad. There's a range. Some of the art's good, some of the art's questionable, but
hey, those sunglasses are cool as fuck.
In actual character design, right? Justice's thing is he's a badass long coat in a Western style gun belt with knee boots, and that's all well and good.
And
but
cool sunglasses.
And cool sunglasses, but his shirt has this like lightning bolt motif that just looks at odds with everything else.
I totally.
It is, however, like the most 80s thing that we've ever seen.
Next time I can go to a Comic-Con, I'm gonna make a costume of Justice.
Right. So we open with a scene of what we're gonna call scumbags doing what scumbags do. Because literally, some scumbags have killed a black lady. They killed some old lady, stone dead. I don't even think they took her wallet, given the structure of the hand.
No, they took her purse and her cookies.
But that's the thing. They robbed her cookies that are just spilled out across the ground. It is actually a shockingly violent scene for a Marvel book.
They did say that they took her purse and there was nothing but 20s in it, so they could score the good drugs and actually make a move.
And they have a guy who is clearly a tweaker. Like they actually went to central casting and got a dude who's as tweaky as possible. So these are bad guys.
Right.
Right.
Again, I feel like the writers write themselves into these books a lot.
Well, I mean,
I robbed an old lady of cookies this morning, so I'm going to put that in a book.
Well, here's the thing: the guy who has the purse is a black guy, and he's wearing the LaForge goggles.
Yeah, Slits.
Right.
His name is Slits.
And he's got like this buzz cut plus mohawk combination that just looks awful.
Yeah, we call it the animal from professional wrestling.
Right, so they flee to their bad guy hole to count their winnings and figure out what they're going to do to score their rock. And Justice is already there in the darkness, looming in the corner, and actually looks pretty cool. It's like, oh man, you're going to watch some shit go down.
Right.
And he starts on the steps, and they challenge him, and they notice that his eyeballs are entirely red, which is why he needs those cool sunglasses, because he has no pupils at all, just glowing beams of red in his eyeballs. Because apparently, like a cyanide and happiness joke, he can see the corruption in people.
He sees their auras.
Right. Yeah, he sees their auras.
Get it right.
His white sight. And because of that, and they threaten him with a knife, he takes his right hand,
right, the right hand of justice.
Yeah, the right hand of justice, and just reduces these guys to dust.
Yes.
Right. No appeal. No.
Somehow the sunglasses make it out.
Yeah. No opportunity to surrender. Just nuclear. Just roasted, and then walk through the streets of urban decay, New York, which admittedly existed.
Which is just New York.
Yeah.
Now,
and
can
then
we talk?
jump.
Well, we'll do that after the fact. Go ahead.
I was going to say, and then it jumps all the way to California, where a phone call is made,
Yes.
which then jumps all the way back to Los Angeles, where another phone call is received.
Well, Los Angeles is in California, so.
Right, but this was like Baja. So instead of just having the call received in LA from a shadowy figure, no, we have a shadowy figure in a hot tub in Baja call somebody in Los Angeles, Century City, presumably about something that's happening in New York.
Right.
Hey, just 2 shadowy figures for the price of 1.
Yeah,
right.
sort of all over the place.
And let's talk about the guy who's like, you failed me at some obscure task.
Right. No. Our obvious villain is talking to this guy about you screwed up the merger with Japan.
Yeah.
So he's like, here's your knife. I want you to commit seppuku like the Japanese. And the guy does it. The guy is doing it.
No,
he's on the phone.
Right. No, I think it's shown that.
I just want to say.
I think it's shown that one of the shadowy figures has control over him and made him cut his own finger off.
I just want to point out, and anybody listening who has listened to this show for any amount of time, do you see why this one was my favorite?
No.
I was dying laughing. That was hilarious.
But yeah, he cut off his finger, and then the shadowy figure is like, okay, well, let me give this to my associate so that she can throw it in the trash can. And then you come back over to New York, where Justice is walking through the streets and decides to steal a pretzel, and the pretzel guy's like, "No, you got to pay for that."
But let's be super clear here. Justice, who just murdered some fuckers for theft and murder.
Why wouldn't he just take a pretzel?
Turns around to just murder, or turns around to just steal the dude. Just rob a dude, because apparently the rules don't apply to Justice.
Well, he clarifies and says, in my home, people would just give me food because of the nature of the purpose that I serve.
Yeah. But also, apparently, his aura vision is he chooses when it's active.
Yes.
Right. So he can just look at people whenever. But that means he gets to choose who lives and who dies.
Right.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
So as he is walking through the park, having been denied a pretzel by stock food salesman,
you mean stock Mexican?
No, this is a balding fat guy from like the Bronx.
He speaks Spanish though in that scene, I thought.
Well, they speak Spanglish, like they just
they
superimpose.
But he could be Cuban.
Yeah,
but you're right. No, he's like he says, you're also, a big strong guy.
Real quick, the first of the channel, there was a character named William Stinchever that decided to come in and just continually shitpost in the chat. I have removed that person from the channel. I make no bones about it. Fuck that guy.
Oh no, I saw him. I just didn't want to respond to anything that pathetic.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
I wasn't looking at the chat.
Well, I wasn't going to respond to it either, but this is like the 5th or 6th time that he's done it, and if you're just going to waste your time coming over here to shitpost, then, I'm going to go ahead and make the executive decision for you. You could be spending your time better elsewhere. So
as Justice is walking through the park, sans pretzel, he collides with this woman who is racing over to a dude who looks like he just stepped out of a 1930s gangster movie, because she's got his money. Right, and
the implication here is that this is a hooker going to her pimp.
Yeah,
who is also a drug dealer or something.
Yeah, she has made him drop.
I thought she was just an addict trying to get her next.
But she has made him drop all of his packets of not cocaine.
Right.
And because Justice is literally standing there, he hasn't actually done anything other than be in the way. This dude has just summoned his muscle to wreck Justice's day, and Justice is like, "Nah, I know kung fu." Right, and then proceeds to use his other hand, his shield, to protect the woman from getting assaulted, while he menaces the drug drug dealer with his right hand, which is glowing red. because clearly that's how people respond.
Right.
I
And
mean,
is-
wouldn't you?
And even though he can see the dude's aura and knows he's a piece of shit, allows himself to be talked into sparing him on the grounds that he gave up some information. But not, because Justice just turns around and kills him, because why the fuck not?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you?
But the thing is that the last panel of this next page, on page 11,
And
he is surrounded by witnesses.
and
Dozens of people saw this violent murder.
we're not
Yeah,
even
but what are you
halfway
gonna
through
do
the
about
book
it?
at this point, so I'm gonna have to
And-
put it on fast forward real quick.
Okay, I'm
And-
just saying, and the crowning moment is the bald guy gives him a pretzel for this.
Yeah, he get you know
Pretzels for murder.
right. Get the fuck
Have you
out of
ever
here,
been
but
to
have a
New
pretzel
York
to eat
City?
on the way.
Yeah.
This is just another day in Central Park.
So beyond that, you kind of move forward and you have another encounter with your shadowy figures. You meet a couple of cops, FBI agents or whatever, and then you end up at a nightclub for some reason, and it's packed even on a weekday. Once you end up at that nightclub, the hostess, I guess, of the nightclub becomes infatuated with Justice and, horny post all over him. While
Can I just say I want a snakehead cane that shoots a blade out of the front of it?
yes,
I mean-
you also
I mean,
have a drug
Justice-
deal going on up top. Go ahead.
I mean, Justice is a mysterious man with white hair in a long coat.
With slitted sunglasses that he stole from someone he murdered.
Yeah, either he's the most confident man in the world, and therefore intensely
Sorry.
attractive,
Sorry,
or he's
sorry,
a
guys, I have
super
to go-
loser.
Sorry, guys, I have to go call my hairstylist.
That's right. That's right. You get that mullet.
Yeah, it is a power mullet.
There's a drug deal. Basically, the reason I didn't like this comic is because it's all over the fucking place. Like, there's no central plot. Basically, the thing that you get from Justice is he's working his way up the chain of corruption. So he kills one set of muggers, and then he's like, okay, now I must go find the next level of corruption. Nah, dog, there's going to be more muggers tomorrow. You should hang out here for a while. Oh, well, I kicked this drug dealer off the streets, and now I go to his supplier. Nah, man, that motherfucker supplies a lot of drug dealers. You're going to have to hang around for a while. Like, this is a job that's going to take decades, if not millennia.
They never said he was good at his job.
I was going to say,
Like,
but anyway, he ends up at this nightclub. And all the while, he's getting, like, little pieces of his memory thrown back at him. He sees that the aura of this police officer he's been following is pure golden or whatever, and it gives him hope in humanity,
yeah, it is.
even though he completely and utterly obliterates his fucking her fucking partner or whatever who's undercover. So
Well,
she tries
he
to
was gonna
arrest
double,
him.
triple cross her.
Yeah, he uses his shield to push the cops out of the way. He saves the fucking hostess of the club. She's just fucking rattled. She's like, I don't like violence anymore. It used to be so cool. I didn't understand that. And then there's a big standoff between the drug dealer and the proprietor of the club. Everybody dies, and then Justice is at a Mexican standoff with the cops at the end of the issue.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And
No,
somebody in the
so-
shadows is like, unleash the hounds, because
So,
of course
okay.
the next issue is
So
going to be
Yes,
hard.
Monty Burns is apparently in this comic releasing the hounds.
Yes, yes.
guys, so hear me out. All right. Zack Snyder directing a movie version of this.
No, that would be terrible.
Yes, exactly.
Actually, Zack Snyder directing a movie version of this that gets co-opted by another director, and then 5 years
All right.
later we get a Snyder cut of it.
All right, let me amend. Zack Snyder directing a movie. It's going to be terrible.
How do you not want to watch that though?
Because I've seen the better version of that.
Terminator.
Which is-
See- No, although close. No. When I was a kid, I saw a movie. It is sometimes called Dark Angel, but I saw it originally as I Come in Peace. Right?
Yeah, you do.
It is a buddy cop movie with Dolph Lundgren in his prime, fresh off the set of the Punisher film, and this wormy little comedian guy whose name I do not recall. But they get involved in a case of alien drug dealers because an alien has come to Earth to harvest our dopamine because it is a powerful drug on his home planet. Because they have the chemistry knowledge and the technology to collect and refine it.
Dopamine is a powerful drug.
Right,
just
but,
say,
but
any
all
single
by
guys
its
out there.
the thing is, like, by itself, you can't really get strung out on it. So this is, like, for these aliens, it's like super drugs.
Well, I just want to say, any of you single guys out there, if you're just looking for...
Yeah, Ayrton's looking for some single guys, y'all.
No, I'm giving advice here. This is Advice Corner. If you're going to be hooking up with chicks, and you maybe want to do it occasionally with the same chick, but you don't want her to get all, like, obnoxious and attached, don't make her come.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I disavow.
Some advice for you.
Moving on, we have Kickers Inc.
Well,
do we have to talk about Kickers? Do we have to? This one is so bad.
I was in the middle of a thing, though. Seriously.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
In this movie, this, like, 7-foot-tall alien who goes around murdering wise guys and stealing their coke so he can give people ODs and collect their essence while they die. His only thing he ever says is, I come in peace. Right? Because, that's what the aliens believe we expect aliens to say. Right? And it is solidly, it's aliens on Earth, but it's aliens doing earthly things, like mundane shit. So this is just like an Ultraman, coming to Earth to fight space crime and fighting regular crime while he's at it. It works. It's just not well told.
Well, I will speed run through Kickers. If anybody wants to...
Here, I got it.
Okay.
Okay.
I got Kickers.
Okay.
All right. There's a football quarterback with his buddies. They do some weird locker room sword fighting shit. His brother's some weird, crazy mad scientist dude, tells him he can give him superpowers. He gives him superpowers. His brother dies. Because
of gambling debt.
To avenge his brother. There we go. That's the story. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
How many goddamn pages?
23.
23 pages.
25.
Whatever. Well, not including the cover.
I mean, they waste, I want to say, like, 6 pages on football-themed soap opera bullshit that no one cares about.
Yeah, because basically what happens is, he gets these superpowers, and then you get like 8 pages of the montage of, yeah, we run this shit now because I'm so strong, I'm going to throw a football and break my player's ribs.
And he's like, oh, wow, we're winning so much. There's no challenge. I'm a superstar. I'm making tons of fucking money. I'm winning the goddamn Super Bowl. But no, it's not as cool because I have superpowers. I have to hold back. Fuck off.
Well, the thing is like, your quarterback has powers and thinks it's real cool, and his girlfriend's in the know, but she doesn't have powers, right? But no, we're not going to focus on that dynamic socially at all. No, our focus is obviously weirdest looking black man that ever there has been, ambiguously Latin guy, and mouthy dude with glasses and Otto Octavius' haircut, who are going to have a 3-person, like, friendgasm where they just snipe at each other, because clearly that's funny. It's the Power Rangers. It's a Power Rangers social dynamic, and it hurts to read.
It's Power Rangers if the people writing it were dropped on their heads 17 times before they started writing.
Well, no, that's the thing, is that the people who wrote Power Rangers were clearly dropped in their head. It's a difference of 16 to 17
times. Yeah. It's that extra 3 times being dropped on your head that gives you this goddamn shit. And nobody notices that his hair turns white halfway through the story. Nobody brings that up.
Wait. I have to scroll back now.
Yes,
I have
blonde.
Oh my god, it is. It does. And nobody asks.
Nobody says anything
at all. Wait a minute. It's the 80s. Clearly he went and got one of those hero perms.
That's right.
Clearly he's just platinum bleach, right?
Right.
But I hated this book so much. It took me 5 times trying to read this to get through it. It was so boring and so stupid.
Well, I mean, here's one of note. Okay, scientist friend is dead. It's just main character.
Scientist brother is dead.
Scientist brother is dead. It's just main character and his friends, and yet somehow main character knows just enough about how to use these devices to give his friends superpowers.
Yes.
How exactly does he know that?
His friends and his wife.
He just sat around and read the book, and who owns this lab? Because eventually that's what they're going to do, right?
Yeah, sure. Just take over your brother's lab with all this weird ass equipment.
Yeah, nobody owns that shit. There aren't any bills to pay. No one's going to have any questions to ask. In fact, let's just $1 million question. What happened to the brother's body?
They probably ate it.
I mean, I would have to, because the thing is that he dies, and then for the next several pages, including the universe news, where they have the checklist and stuff, they never refer to the corpse.
No.
Yeah, so you're bringing up like other shit that I didn't even think of when I was reading this.
Right.
It was so stupid. My last thought was what happened to the brother's body. And I'm sure theirs was too. This is terrible. Don't read this. Okay, any military personnel listening to this show that maybe work at Guantanamo Bay, maybe instead of waterboarding, just force prisoners to read this shit.
Yeah.
And they'll give you all the information you want.
Right. Just read it to them over loudspeaker.
They'll tell you their mother's shoe size, how often they shave their pubes. They'll give you all kinds of information you don't even need.
What I would like, because I would like Richard C. Meyer to rewrite this. I want Richard C. Meyer presents the Kickers Incorporated.
Oh, man. So
I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. What are you talking about?
So now we have Mark
Rob
Hazard.
Liefeld.
Merc.
Right Kickers Inc.
Don Chin in the chat says, why is it whenever I pop into your show, you're talking about kickers? Obviously, you hate yourself. Don't pin Jim Shooter's mistakes on me after I told him it was his fault. I'm watching Farman with my wife, but we'll check this out later. Have fun. Thank you, Don, for checking in, bud.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate it.
Oh, man. So
you're a light in these dark times, Don.
Yes. Even though it's your fault that we're doing this, we don't blame you for the terribleness.
Shut up.
Now, Mark Hazard Merc was one of my favorites from this particular set. So, and that was because Mark is again one of the characters that doesn't have powers from the White Event. Okay, this is the first book where we see a character that is not a superhuman after the White Event. Even though they referenced it.
Okay. I was so confused about that. I was waiting for for him to materialize machine guns out of his knees or some shit.
Nope. He goes. He find out that he has a real shitty personal life. He can't seem to keep his commitments with his kids. Avoiding his ex-wife, doesn't pay child support. But this is the good guy, folks. So
he is. That's right. Don't pay that child support.
Well, I mean, if you look at him, he's clearly had a half mile beaten into his face.
Right.
It's entirely possible. Maybe there's a reason he's not hanging out with his kid.
Prostitution. You're paying the whore to go away and leave you alone.
So
I just have a question before we dig too deep into this church.
I'm gonna speed run this one too, but go ahead.
What the fuck's going on page 4?
Oh.
I mean, I know what it's supposed to represent, but what is actually going on page 4 is lost to me.
They've just jumped out of a helicopter.
Page 4.
No, I know
he's practicing ballet.
I know that he jumped out of the helicopter, but that's not what it looks like. It looks like he's, I don't know, hovering 3 feet above the ground and flailing drunkenly.
Maybe that's the power he got from the White Event. Maybe he can just hover as long as he, looks like he's in
being soberly drunk at the same time.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, his partner in the back is making a Mortal Kombat gesture for "Get over here."
Yes, little known to us as Mao later becomes Sub-Zero in the popular video game franchise. So, anyway, we have. I guess I'll pull that up for everybody to see if they're watching this. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Up on stream. So, Anyway, this is more of a military style comic. I look at it as more of kind of like a G.I. Joe, a Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos, Sergeant Rock and Company type comic.
If it was made with preschoolers who eat Play-Doh.
Well, no, that's the thing, is that because it's kind of similar to those things, that's why it's good.
Yeah.
Obviously, the creator had a flair or has a touch for a specific kind of action comic.
The writer did. The artist didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah.
And no offense to Gray Morrow on art, but Peter David outshines you on this book. But
it's also again, not the worst art. Like,
oh no, it's not bad. It's not bad art. It's just it. Yeah. Here's the thing, and here's a little bit of a backstory for those of you that might not know. RuneKnight, I think you know this because you've watched the same documentary that I have. But let's talk a minute about the Marvel method back in these days, okay? So, the Marvel method, and we'll talk more in depth on this in a future show with another friend of the show, Coyote. But the Marvel method consisted...
We say friend, we mean hostage.
The Marvel method consisted of coming up with a loose, harebrained idea and talking to an artist about it. And that artist would draw pages without any script whatsoever, and then it would the writer would come back and start scripting the pages. So instead of the artist being able to draw what the writer had scripted out and actually make it succinct with, how the actual book was supposed to look, the writer would have to kind of ham-fist their way through what, was supposed to be happening on these panels.
I know what this is.
Yeah.
It occurred to me suddenly. I'm sitting here, I'm looking at like page 5.
Yeah.
And it suddenly hit me because we were talking about the art, and Hazard doesn't look so bad on the close-up, right? But he's got like this hammered face. This is Jonah Hex if Jonah Hex was in Vietnam.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Okay. I'll give you that.
But anyway, Mark Hazard and his mercenary friends are dropped into some continent. It just is inconspicuous. It just says in the South Pacific. So they're sent to dethrone a dictator who kills anyone who tries to push him out of the presidency. And they, accomplish this handily. But then they realize that the people that paid him to usurp this president are just going to be as bad and are planning on sexually assaulting the daughter of this president, who is an innocent.
Because it is the mid-'80s, we'll refer to this dictator as Pot Pot.
Not to be confused with Pol Pot.
No, not at all. Not at all. Very different individual.
So, anyway, once he realizes...
Certainly not Bok Choy.
Why don't we just call the dictator Hot Pocket? Can we do that? But anyway, they don't get paid by the rebels because they single-handedly murder all of them and leave no one in charge of this nation, which I'm not really sure. But
I just since we're getting to that part,
can you bitch long enough for me to go get some ice?
I might be able to.
Okay, RuneKnight, pick up the slack if he can. I'll be right back.
Right. So,
all right. So they do all their murder shit, and they snag the president's daughter. And then what the fuck is she wearing? What kind of night clothes is that? It's like it's like she has a diaper on underneath that. What is that?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing.
To me. I'm so confused.
Here's the thing. We have to roll it back just a little bit. So Hazard holds the El Presidente at gunpoint, who promptly tries to do his best version of the knife-throwing scene from Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
And dies. And
again, I'm more interested in the chick's clothes because I'm so confused by it.
Behind a panel, she comes out in this what is supposed to be this very chaste 70s like onesie shirts.
Well, in the first few panels, it looks like a negligee thing, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
Right, and then we skip forward.
We're talking about the
because of
daughter
stuff.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That outfit she's wearing. What is that? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
I
this
have
is
no
supposed to
idea
be
if
an
I can be
underage
turned
girl
on or
and we're
disgusted by
supposed to, like, be cringed out about it, or if she's an adult that's just been, like, yeah, like...
No, but,
Well, the thing
like,
is
what
that-
is she even wearing? It's like some weird onesie thing. Like, I don't know if I should jerk off to it or be ashamed that I'm even looking at it.
You should be ashamed that you feel like jerking off to it, of course.
Well, here's the thing. It's not just that he goes after the girl that stands out as weird. Okay? The guards burst in, they see him there, armed, ready to go, but they don't turn around and, shoot him and then figure out who's going to be in charge because the president is dead. But they instantly start killing each other, screaming, "I'm in charge!" And on the next page, the middle panel, where they proclaim that there's now a five-man government, which is not how government works, are all waving their guns in the air, going like sand people.
Wait, they weren't sand people?
No, they're sand people now.
No, they're jungle people. Come on.
And then they all get blown up by Mel, who has a bit of an opinion about government. And then they go to the rebels to get paid and get shit stiffed by the rebels.
Yes, and then Bagel Bites comes in, the successor of Hot Pockets. And Bagel Bites rebel forces decide they're going to rape the girl, and they're flipping a coin to take turns.
And it's at that point that they save the girl and carry her off, and you kind of get a sense of whatever the heck she's wearing.
Yes, by pretending that they're going to rape her.
Yeah.
which is so confusing. I have no idea what she's wearing.
It's a very 70s piece of clothing, because it's like
it's a weird onesie thing. Like, how do you take a piss in that? Like, what do you get the runs and have to take a shit in the middle of the night?
Ayrton, hold on, Ayrton. Female onesies with the crotch piece, there's buttons down there like there are in baby onesies.
I'm just saying, like, if you watch old 60s and 70s sci-fi and the like, there are women wearing these. I think Barbarella wears one at one point. It's some kind of night clothes. The real question is, why wasn't you wearing real clothes to begin with?
Because it was night and she was probably asleep.
Because it's dark out.
But she was behind a panel in a room where a dude got murdered. So, like, what was she doing? Chained to his bed?
No, that was a door where her father was stabbed through.
Again, what happens if you get the runs in the middle of the night? Like, you're fucked. Like, shit.
I've told you, there's buttons down there, you asshole. They can just unsnap them and use the toilet.
Look, given the night that she's having been kidnapped...
Forget about the goddamn negligee!
Probably doesn't care. She's probably already gone.
But anyway, his cohorts eventually get pissed off at him for double-crossing the rebels and stealing the girl. The girl is fighting him the entire time they're trying to escape, even though he just saved her ass from being raped.
Yeah, it turns into the last half of the movie Rambo.
Mm-hmm.
And that's great, actually, but it's interspersed with memory segments from Hazard's life.
Right.
So, anyway, Hazard says, "Well, I'm not doing the next mission either, and we didn't get paid from this one." And his cohorts are like, "You're taking money out of our pockets," which is a legitimate beef. And he's like, "But I did it for the right reasons. You can do the next job without me." So he goes home and he calls his kid, and his kid's like, "Oh, Dad's coming to my baseball game. It's the first time I've heard from him in years." And his ex-wife...
Shit,
What?
I missed something. I think we all missed it.
What?
Okay, so Hazard's got the girl. Girl doesn't want to go.
I mean, I was in an alcohol...
Oh, yeah, he was dragging her by the hair. I didn't miss that.
No, they do the whole get to the chopper thing. They get to the chopper, and she's like, "I don't want to go. I hate you. You killed my parents." So he's like, "Okay," and lets her go, and she gets gunned down.
No, she didn't get gunned down. He actually swerved the chopper around to kill the people shooting at her.
Yeah, that's what you get, you ungrateful bitch.
But no. The thing is that contextually, she's lying there dead. They still got her.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Because they're talking about it, right?
Yeah.
And Hazard's talking about his kid, and how terrible he feels for what they've done. And Mel's like, I don't give a shit, right?
Yeah, but the last.
And
Go ahead.
well, I'm just saying, like the entire context of this is that basically Hazard's a failure as a hero because he's not a hero; he's a 2-bit merc.
Shout out Old Bleezy92. We're talking about terrible New Universe comics. Welcome to the show. Marvel's New Universe, 1986, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Marvel, and this is how they did it.
Go, get out of here, get to the chopper.
So we've got 3 more books to look at. Night Mask, Psi-Force, and Spitfire before we get into the reasons why they were so terrible. Night Mask, I'm just going to pull the cover up and speed run through that one.
Yeah, just give us like the quick points of it.
Yeah, I'll do that for the next 3 because even the quick points take 5 to 10 minutes apiece. So, and I'm sure you guys all have points, but...
Well, I am curious about your thoughts on Psi-Force just because, you know...
Oh, I thought Psi-Force was Captain Planet bullshit.
Well, yeah, but I just want to comment even before we get there. I wasn't aware that alien is is both a pronoun and an accusation and a swear and a slur.
Yes.
So, it's like all those things, you
know. Night Mask is a very interesting comic book. This is one of the few characters that was actually brought into the Marvel Universe proper later on down the line. Anyway, we're introduced to a character who is who's in a coma because he survived a plane explosion where a terrorist blew a bomb up on a plane that he, his mother, his father, and his sister were on. Both of their parents died. The sister survived but is now in a wheelchair, and he is in a coma. So during the White event, he wakes up.
Coma, chameleon.
And he wakes up with the ability to invade other people's dreams, while the sister is psychically linked with him and can pull him out of dreams.
Which is like worse than the Wonder Twins from the Super Friends.
Well, I'd argue
like that's a dumber sibling power set.
I disagree. I mean, becoming a bucket of water is completely useless. Being able to pull your brother out of a dream before somebody, being able to pull somebody out of a dream before they die, I mean that makes sense. Go ahead.
The powers are not the problem here.
The writing is the problem.
Well, the writing, yes, because the writing's kind of meandering, but no, it's the art. The art is all over the place.
It was like I was
which is a terrible thing.
Liberal arts literature degree essay.
It's a terrible thing to say that because Archie Goodwin has done some great stuff in his time. This is just not one of those things.
Well, especially because he doesn't seem to know what to do with the guy's scar. The guy has this crescent moon scar on his forehead, presumably from the explosion, or it's a birthmark or some shit. And it just distorts his entire face because it's got to be there, but it moves around, or his face moves around it. There is no symmetry to his appearance at all.
Who, Kevin?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're introduced to the supporting cast. That is his sister Teddy, who he calls Squirt. There is the Latina, physical trainer who is the TNA of the book.
I swear sexually assaults the kid in one scene.
Sure. And then you find out that he can invade other people's dreams because he passes out. Teddy can pull him out of dreams. He keeps going into his the neighboring patient dream to find out that the neighboring patient is none other than the terrorist who blew up the plane that his parents were on, he was on.
And nobody caught him because he wore a fake beard over his beard.
Right, and so Night Mask eventually develops a costume in the dream realm when he becomes more confident in his powers. But he gets his ass kicked once or twice by a character named the Gnome. They read a book on German. There's a doctor there with a German last name.
Think the Pink Floyd song?
No. There's a doctor there with a German last name, and after they read a book on German, he decides that he knows what's up. He goes back into the dream realm, and he uses the gnome's power word, which is his name, for those that don't know. The gnome melts into this doctor in some technology, and Night Mask just basically... I don't really understand what happens, but somehow the character like falls, and Night Mask is brought out of the memory before the character or the guy whose dream he's in can die. Basically, this book is all over the place, but it's one of the more logical ones to follow.
Logical?
Yeah, I think so. I think it actually has a more cohesive plotline.
In broad beats, it makes sense, but in the narrow focus, it is a bit of a jumble.
Yes,
Because
it actually has it actually, they don't jump from place to place. They don't, go over so many characters and introductions that you can't really keep track. It's not as ridiculous as Kickers was. Like, it makes sense as a premise and is cohesive to the point that you can follow it. Unlike Psi-Force that we're about to talk about. But go ahead.
Well,
I got so goddamn bored reading this book.
Well, it's wordy, and that is a problem. That's why I said this is not one of Archie Goodwin's better stories. But it's wordy as fuck.
It's like chewing on glass that had been soaked in fucking mercury trying to read through this goddamn book.
You guys did overlook one character, and it doesn't surprise me.
While reading a German
thesaurus. Doctor?
Yeah, there's Dr. Ballard, or Ballad, who is basically Joe Robertson, or Robertson, rather.
Yeah, he looks exactly like him.
He's just Joe Robertson with a different name and a different job.
Yeah.
Which means that Night Mask, on some level, is just
Peter Parker.
Screaming Peter Parker, yeah.
A worse Peter Parker. Like, he's not interesting or fun at all.
Well, that is one thing that we can say is that every one of these characters and everything that we're going to review going forward, they all have concrete Marvel Studios, pieces of, what's the word I'm looking for? Influence?
They all have cognates to a different character or a different setup.
So
I'm three scotches in at this point. That's the only way I can deal with this.
Cognate's a big word.
I thought of a great use for these books. These books could actually do good in the world.
Oh, kindling?
Oh my god, I just thought of this.
Paper mache?
No. You guys remember the DARE program from school, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, this is the kind of shit you write when you're on drugs.
Yes, instead of cheesy songs and fucking shit like that, just hand out these goddamn books and force the kids to sit in a room for an hour and read through them.
I will freely admit...
They won't even take a goddamn aspirin after reading this shit because they're
will
terrified of writing something that's such goddamn shit.
I will freely admit that when I was a kid, I was in the DARE program, and they gave us one year a little care package, which included a Transformers comic by Marvel with
I remember that one.
Human-sized Transformers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of those, they should have given us these. I agree.
Exactly.
If you take drugs, you will trip out like this character. Don't do this.
You would be like, well, fuck. All I'm doing is drinking water and munching on goddamn kale for the rest of my life because I don't want to produce anything that's this shit.
but no, I'm
not even going to look at a cigarette. If I see somebody pull a pack out, I'm going to gouge my own fucking eyes out.
But here's the thing. I actually agree with Church. Even though I will say Night Mask is one of the weaker books of this set, it is a solid idea. It's just really underbaked because the idea of a hero who goes into the realm of dreams.
Okay, I'll give you guys that.
And the realms of dreams
the
are
premise of it was cool. It was just
super
boring.
surreal. It's like, what if Morpheus from DC was an actual superhero and not just a facet of reality?
Right, honestly,
what if Alex Jones was a teenager and had DMT before Joe Rogan did? That's the vibe I got out of it.
Well, let's just be honest here. A lot of these ideas seem to come from DC creations that came out at the same time. So I think the unspoken discovery that we've made on this show is that this was Marvel's attempt to bite off Vertigo.
So does that mean that each of the team comics is actually just trying to rip off Doom Patrol for the second time?
Yes.
Because I even though I feel the X-Men have solidly come into their own as their own thing, I will not deny the extreme convenience of the original X-Men coming out simultaneous to the Doom Patrol. Just like I won't deny the extreme convenience of Man-Thing and Swamp Thing being almost identical and almost coming out one after the other on top
Yeah,
of
but
each other.
we can trace that back to the beginning.
All right,
Oh,
Aaron.
also,
The Green
with that in
Lanterns,
mind, I
Hawkeye,
feel the
Green
need to
Arrow.
say Alan Moore, Alan Moore, Alan Moore.
I hate you.
Ayrton, on that note, walk us through Psi-Force, buddy.
Okay.
Oh boy. I gotta say real quick.
Oh, you got
Church,
Spitfire
I am
RuneKnight.
I know, but I just want to say I'm very interested in your opinions on Psi-Force because you are, the red man, and you have a lot to say about this.
I really wish they were talking about a red dot Indian, not a red-skinned one, honestly. Because this is a disgrace to my people.
Yeah, but they would never. No, seriously. We all know that no comic before modernity is going to do a red dot Indian.
I'm gonna go ahead and give my opinion on it before Ayrton gets into it.
Okay.
YouTube put out a tweet about how Thanksgiving was known by the Native American community as unthanksgiving because of the atrocity that the people had faced. And as a Native American, now hold on. As a Native American, I put a tweet out that says, as a Native American, get fucked. So that's how I feel about this comic book. Native American Captain Planet can get fucked.
I'm thumbing through this. I'm thumbing through this, and after Ayrton gives us the rundown, I have to mention I've already noticed a similarity between the other books. They've already copied themselves twice.
See, I told you.
Yeah. So go ahead, Ayrton.
Essentially, we open with our main dude and some Central Russian little foxy.
Actually, I disagree. That this is not our main dude because he does die before the end of the issue.
Well, spoiler alert.
Here's the thing. Well, yeah, but two things. One, credit where credit's due. They're getting chased by the Stasi. That's actually impressive.
Yeah,
they could have not done Nazis, but no. Let's remember his name because you have to remember his name because he's going to die. His name is Mr. Proudhawk.
Proudhawk.
The least you could do is remember his name.
And because Native Americans don't have real names, you guys. They all have the tribe names.
Yeah, now my fucking tribe name is Disappointed Pigeon.
Short and soft.
Hello, ladies. So they're getting chased by the Stasi. We find out fucking Anastasia Kettle One, whatever the fuck her name was, has
Stasi. She calls herself Stasi too, right?
Okay. Yeah, whatever. She has some weird.
Wait a minute.
Ability.
The bad guys aren't the Stasi. I thought he was talking to the Stasi.
No, he said, "Trust me, Stasi," which is short for Anastasia.
Yeah. See, I thought he was talking to the bad guys.
No, they're KGB. They're KGB, not Stasi. She's Stasi,
okay,
which is short for Anastasia.
That is a horrible short form of that name.
It really is.
Wow.
But she has some psychic healing powers. He has some weird psychic powers where he can make people do shit. The KGB are shooting them up. She's trying to heal them. They get fucked up. Some other people who also have psychic powers. One can astral project.
And
one is a Jubilee knockoff.
Oh, no.
It's a Jubilee knockoff.
Yeah.
Nobody else noticed that.
Who hates having her powers? She fucking hates having her powers.
Yeah, but did anyone happen to catch her name?
It's Jubilee.
Did anyone happen to catch her name?
Yes, Ling.
No.
Kathy Ling.
Oh yeah, Ling.
Kathy Ling, which Jubilee, yes, you're absolutely right. It is a knockoff of Jubilee. But it's green instead of yellow, so it's different.
Oh, my bad. But anyway,
also,
they do some shit.
Ayrton, those guys have guns, real ones.
Oh.
And not to be confused with fake guns that real criminals use.
Yeah, it's like, what
These
the
aren't
fuck?
Nerf guns. But so they escape and they get to a sanctuary where there's other people who also have psychic powers. And then
Red Man dies.
Drunk Hawk or whatever sits there and tells him about a dream he had, where they all need to work together to not die.
Not only that, but apparently the dream is good. I'm going to go through the dream. Basically, there's a hawk protecting a herd of rabbits. No. There's a hawk protecting a herd of 5 rabbits. And the hawk swoops in and gets killed by a wolf, so the rabbits, like, form together and create a super hawk that kills the wolves.
So I just want
Hawktron, activate.
Which is foreshadowing for the next 10 pages.
That is the next 10 pages, essentially, just with psychics instead of rabbits.
Can we give...
I do want to say...
Whatever credit's due, at least they understand that foreshadowing is to use it for the next 10 pages?
Yeah.
Because how many books have we read recently that just don't understand the structure of story?
Tonight, all of them. None of them understand the structure of storytelling. All they understand is I'm putting words down on paper with cocaine.
So, I do want to point out that I at least in the the Black Hills Plains tribes, part of kind of like their becoming a man ritual is you would have to wander into the wilderness and you did some ritualistic shit, probably took a lot of drugs, and you would have some sort of like spiritual vision that would kind of tell you what your path of life is going to be, which is an actual tradition to like the Lakota people. Was it the Blackfoots or whatever? So that part I actually thought was kind of cool, the way they kind of tied that into it. But the rest of it's shit.
What does your spirit animal tell you? You gonna get fucked.
But yeah, so what's her face? Fucking Sky Vodka or whatever the fuck her name was, runs away and calls the KGB to turn herself in because she's being a whiny chick and thinks nobody likes her, even though the nerdy dude likes her, but is nervous. And then they track her down. The KGB shows up.
Yet again, found name. The villain is named Mind Wolf.
That's right, Mind Wolf, because that's not on the nose. They kill fucking Cocaine Hawk. The 5 kids come together and bring all of their psychic abilities together, and some weird...
They summon an offensive stereotype, man.
Like him in a fucking like Native American like rain dance costume, essentially, flies out of the medallion and kills Mind Wolf, not Mind like that, old bleezy, and then they win, and they're cool.
Remember, it's Native American garb as envisioned by someone who has never seen Native American garb before.
No, I've seen costumes and like their traditional dances and stuff that kind of look like that. I mean, it's comic book stylized.
It looks like Tony Hawk designed Native American garb. Tony Stark, rather, not Tony Hawk, not the.
Look, if I was going to give them, if I was going to give them half a wit, I mean even half a one, I'd say that it looks more like a eagle costume from Mesoamerica than a High Plains or North American Indian costume.
I mean, that's still Native American. I mean, that's
South
America.
But then it has like this samurai bird mask helmet.
No, they would wear weird mask shit in some of
the but not like that, man. I mean, I understand superhero stylized.
I'm trying to give them some sort of credit. I've been yelling this whole goddamn podcast. Let me try and be positive for like 3 seconds.
All right. Okay. I mean,
did okay.
He's still gonna die.
Yeah, he's still die. Well, no, the apparition thing doesn't die; it just disappears, I guess. And his mind is like in his medallion or something.
Real quick,
I don't know. It's fucking weird.
Update for everybody. I don't know if you guys know about the Tyson Jones fight going on tonight, but Jake Paul was on that card fighting Nate Robinson.
Okay.
Nate Robinson is a pro boxer and an 11-year NBA veteran. 3-time NBA slam dunk champion, and is cut like a great piece of fucking steak. But
Jake Paul is the dude that's like
the one that
32 years old and acts like a 14-year-old.
The one that looted a PF Chang's during the riots. He just knocked Nate the fuck out.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. He may have just killed a man. He hit 2 good punches and just fucked this dude up. Anyway. Go ahead with the rest of Psi-Force. I'm sorry. Captain Planet is as good as it's gonna get.
That's about the rest. They all come together and they're like, yeah, we're a team. We're gonna have a fucking like.
We're a team because this Indian dude died protecting us.
Yeah, we're gonna smoke peyote and have a fucking positivity orgy to celebrate his fucking memory. I don't fucking know.
Not that any of them have any personality, because even though you've got Leatherjack Wheeler and you've got Glasses Kid from the D&D cartoon, these people don't have names or personalities.
Gray Goose or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, these people have no personalities, and then you have Black Guy who says nothing except for when he's a intangible spirit.
He's sitting there spinning a fucking basketball.
Yeah. And by the way, at the end of the comic,
jacket asshole dude refers to the Indian guy. He says, like, "Listen here, Geronimo."
Yeah, but let's just also remember that at the end of the comic, they're carrying off the corpse. So these people stole the corpse.
Yeah, they're disturbing the privacy. Just a maybe that's a misdemeanor. No, a fucking felony. Moving a corpse from the crime of a scene.
But yes, the Black Guy is spinning a basketball, except when he's intangible. So we have another intangible guy.
Uh-huh.
Well, and they don't make intangible basketballs. Come on.
And Anastasia, right? The woman
Anastasia, but yes,
has the healing powers. So we have Heal Girl and we have intangible character again.
Yep.
See, I told you the same goddamn book over and over.
Well,
Rune, some are more racist than the others.
You're up next on Spitfire. Give us the elevator clip notes on this.
I mean, it's easy. Has anyone ever read Mask? You ever seen the cartoon Mask? There you go.
Imagine Iron Man if it was low budget and terrible.
So, joking aside...
So, Batman versus Superman?
Joking aside, what this actually is this is an entire arc of Iron Man reduced to a single comic. Okay? And it starts with the bad guy.
Yeah, I read like a quarter of this, so...
Our stand-in, Obadiah Stane, steals the low-cost Iron Man suit that's not an Iron Man suit. And then we jump immediately...
No, because there's no goddamn advanced technology in this world except a fucking machine that turns a football player into fucking Captain America.
We jump immediately to our main characters, which are a vivacious redhead who is related to Obadiah Stane, and her very special team of friends, which are, of course, all the colors of the rainbow.
Let's take a minute and talk about that real quick. Throughout this book,
vivacious redhead, I'll always talk about.
Let's talk about this real quick though. Throughout these 7 books, there has been no lack of diversity whatsoever in these characters.
Oh, not at all.
And they were all played completely straight.
There's even main characters that are women.
And none of them were played as second fiddle. None of them were given like second billing, and it was just kind of the status quo. So what the fuck are people talking about? Just because the most popular characters happen to be cis white men, doesn't mean that there hasn't been like an attempt to make characters that were of different cultures and different genders.
Oh no, let's actually address the positives here. Even though he dies in Psi team.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Psyops,
the main character of Psyops is a Native American, right? And then the main character, the actual focus hero of Spitfire, is a woman.
Yes.
Right?
And a redhead.
Redhead. But I mean, that's a common thing, especially because redhead inks well.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, when you look at her team of supporters, right? It's a woman of color, a man of color, and like 3 white dudes. But none of them are...
and a dude wearing like a 4-piece suit.
Yeah, a dude wearing a 4-piece suit and reading the paper. But the thing is like, none of them are stupid. None of them are caricatures. They're all people.
None of them are stereotypes.
Well, except not the Asian. The smart Asian at MIT definitely is not.
Well, yeah, but that's the other thing. It's like they're all college or university level individuals.
Yeah.
Right?
Like everybody is supposedly as smart as the Asian.
Wait, what? So if I was on camera, I would have done a spit take.
So basically, they're all at school doing their thing when it turns out that the redhead's dad has died.
Well, hold on.
And that's
Let's
the guy
talk
who got-
about the fact that they call pranks hacks. That's the only thing that stood out to me in this book is everything that they called a prank was a hack. Like, there was no senior prank. They're putting a tractor in the dean's office and called it a hack.
Projecting on their abilities to create these goddamn stories.
I mean, to be clear, because they're brilliant, they're actually building the tractor in the dean's office.
Okay, yes.
Because getting it out will be difficult.
Yes, and they're talking about the ceramic engines that they could just pick up or whatever, but they didn't have one of those. So
why does the engine need to run if it's in his office just sitting there hanging out? That part made no sense to me. Like, who the fuck cares? You're just assembling a tractor in his office.
Why did they not, why did they get an engine lift in the middle?
His goddamn carpet?
Did they have to rent an engine lift to get?
You don't have shag anymore.
Here's the thing. Here's what's actually important. Okay, is the young woman?
You see what these
looking
fucking books do to me, Church? You see what happens?
Yes, I do, and I love it so much.
Drink some more booze.
I was already
take a
losing
minute.
my voice fucking yesterday at work because I was yelling so much on the bitch streaming stream.
Drink some more booze.
Let him finish.
Take a minute. Let me finish this so we can get out of this. The sooner I'm done, the sooner you're saved. So, the girl is basically investigating her father's effects, right? And discovers a message he left, basically saying, "If I'm dead, somebody murdered me." Right?
Right.
And then she has kung fu with discount Doc Strange with no magic, because she's planning a vengeance, as you do. Her buddies are all in on it. They're all going to help her out, because of course you do. Bad guys appear, which is useful. And in the course of finding out what they're up to, she discovers the experimental MAX, the Man Amplified Experiment, which is an Iron Man suit, but it's red.
Well, the Max is the Max 1 is the first suit. Max 2 is the one that she discovers, the Spitfire.
Right. So
because they call her Spitfire because she's got red hair.
Right. So they steal it and all of its support equipment in 3 color-coded
hold on.
names.
They don't steal the suit and all of the support equipment. They steal the entire fucking lab that's set up in 3 trucks.
Yeah, in 3 color-coded, numbered trucks.
Semi-trucks.
Yeah, semi-trucks with a ambiguous and move out proclamation. And I'll bet you money Marvel had the Transformers license at this time.
They
so
did. Marvel was the first company to ever print Transformers comics.
Right. So the bad guy puts on the first suit and goes chasing after Spitfire, who has to put on the red suit. And then it's basically an Iron Man comic. Red versus silver suit. And I mean, it's not like it's uninteresting. It's just, we've seen this before. We've watched this conflict happen.
Mm-hmm.
Where after she defeats the silver suit, and she disables it by stealing and or damaging a very pertinent part of it, tearing the bad guy out of it, right? And then they jump in their trucks and literally drive away into the future.
A month into the future.
Yeah, a month into the future, which we will never read.
Well, I will, but that's because I hate myself.
I mean, sure.
Now, let's talk about why these comic books were terrible.
Because they fucking exist.
Well, here's the thing. Jim Shooter had a plan for this, and he had a plan to...
Did he?
Yes, he had a plan to recruit top creators for all of these titles, which was immediately scrapped, because in 1986, Marvel was owned by a company, let me check my notes here, Cadence Industries. This was before Disney owned Marvel, obviously. Cadence Industries had threatened to sell Marvel off. And Marvel was basically pushed to the brink of saying, we can't spend any money on anything. So the budget for this went from like $500,000 in 1986, or no, it was $125,000 to $0.
You mean pesos?
No. Their initial budget proposal was $125,000.
For this shit?
Yes. Well, no, not for this shit.
For
For
what
new
this
universe.
Bridge I can sell.
No, let's be clear.
Disney, call
For
me
what
up. I have
this-
a fucking bridge I can sell you.
No, here's the thing. It was $500,000 for what this was supposed to be.
No, it was $125,000 in 1986 money, which is basically $500,000 to $1 million now.
Right.
But at the time that it launched, Jim Shooter basically was given a budget of $0 to make this work. Now, they pushed the fuck out of this. They marketed it as best they could. And a lot of these titles actually did really well.
They did?
Yeah. Yeah. There's another...
Is it everybody who works in government now?
No, there's another property that we did not review that some of you may be familiar with. The Star brand. Okay? Remember Star brand? That actually did really, really well. But, again, because they had no budget for any of this. Like, we didn't review Star brand. But, let's see here. Shit, we didn't review Star brand because Star brand wasn't included in my collection. I'll get you guys Star brand, but it's probably the best comic out of any of this. But,
okay.
No, the new
I'm about to pour this beer into my eyes. Continue.
So, basically, with a budget of nothing, they had to basically double and triple up on creator teams. There was absolutely no, collaboration between teams to make the universe work the way it was supposed to. The ideas that they had for the new universe were scrapped because editorial had no control over anything. And, it was basically what's happening with Marvel in current day back in '86 because they had no budget.
Well, here's the thing.
Well, what's their excuse today? Is what I want to know.
Here's the thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed. I don't know if anyone necessarily agrees, but it seems to me that it has become in vogue to shit talk Jim Shooter or put Jim Shooter on a pedestal like he's a saint. Right?
Well, we have to put some of the blame on Tom DeFalco as well.
Sure.
And Archie Goodwin, and Elliot Brown, and John Morelli, and Mark Gruenwald.
But here's the thing about Shooter specifically. Shooter was the guy who conceived the living costume. He was the kid that wrote the letter.
Yeah, well, that conception should have been a fucking cum stain on the back of his jeans.
Opinion being irrelevant. Okay? I'm just saying factually it happened. And this kid lived the dream. Got picked up by Marvel, who said, come work for us. Right? And I have heard tale that it was basically a horrifying experience because he was surrounded by adults in a very cutthroat environment as a kid, being expected to make an adult-level series of decisions. The company forged him into the man that would become their editor, and what they made was not a very nice person.
Yeah.
But, at the same time, some weird alchemy of iron will and creative urge is what enabled him to lead that company to success in, even though we got great comics out of it as consumers, a terrible time for that company.
Yes.
Right? Jim Shooter is essentially a wartime leader. And there are people who are like, we need a Jim Shooter. We need Jim Shooter back. You don't want Jim Shooter back. Because Jim Shooter isn't going to necessarily respond to a new world or a new set of circumstances in a new way. He's going to respond to it in an old way. In ways that worked, but not necessarily ways that are the best now. Right?
I mean, John McCain was brought up in war too, and we saw how well that turned out.
But what I'm getting at,
I mourned the tumor after he died.
Well, what I'm getting at is that, like, Jim Shooter is a tragedy, right? But when we look at these books and we're like, well, why are these books like this? frankly, we should be amazed these books even exist.
I
If
am.
that's the level of bullshit that he was having to work with as an editor to make these books happen, and I will bet some degree of money I don't have that these books came out on time.
They did.
That these books
I'll
made
bet you 12 pesos.
that these books made a minimum of profit. They at least made their investment back. Because the investment was nothing. They can only go up from there.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
Well,
I've got some notes on what RuneKnight just said real quick.
Okay.
Four of the 8 series, including Starbrand that we didn't review, were actually relatively profitable, and they were all discontinued in 1989 because the resources would be better used on different series. They followed.
That's something I want to bring up. Actually,
well, they followed the discontinuation by releasing a comic series. It was a 4-issue series called The War, which was the conclusion of the new. So, go ahead.
Well, okay. So if you have this idea that's so good, right, but your budget gets pulled by the corporate suits and whatnot, why not take that talent and the minimal funds you have, funnel that into the books that you know are going to sell, prove yourself, get some more money, and then maybe do 3 or 4 of these stories and add in the other ones. Don't just shit out and vomit out these goddamn 7/8 books.
Well,
just to see what happens because you want to sit there and jerk off your fucking ego.
No, it came at the end of having an 8 series, new universe, where everything went off the rails from the beginning. Because here's the thing: eventually, Justice becomes a serial killer, right? Who targets paranormals who were abusing their powers.
Okay, I can dig that. I like
some
that idea.
Some of these series were canceled after 12 issues. Some of them went on for 32. Some of them were retitled. Some of them were merged into others. But there was no coordination with the new universe, and
because of limited resources. Like, there's a lot of good ideas here. I think that's the thing that pisses me off. There's a lot of really, really good and intriguing ideas.
Well,
but knowing the background, though, if you would have just waited out, kind of, lick the assholes of the executives that own your company for a bit. You might need to get a little dirty, do some other shit you don't really want to do, but at least build up some cred and try and get some real funding for a project, because there are some very cool concepts. I think that's what pissed me off the most about these. Here's
the thing, though. Comics, unfortunately, work a lot like the medical legal bureaucracy, right?
Yeah.
So
the people funding it want results, and if you don't get results, then you lose your funding.
Yeah,
but here's the thing. But here's the thing.
Illegal. Yeah,
no. Here's the thing. If you get results, then they don't say here's more money because you get results.
They say here's less money.
Yeah,
you
don't need
results.
money. You get results. Yeah, they consistently take away your money because you got results. Mm-hmm. The only way to get results is to break even. Right, or rather, the only way to get more money is to break even, and
which is the same reason. It's the same reason the military spends $900 on a stapler.
Hey,
yeah.
All I know is
because if you can
was
do it for less money, they give you less money. The only way to get more money is to run out of money before you buy everything you need. So you end up spending $1,200 on a hammer.
Hey, like I said, the label of my beer was better written than all of these books combined.
Let me put it this way.
I can only read half of it because the rest is in Icelandic.
Let me put it this way, because there are people who will disagree with me, but there's a wisdom here.
Okay.
There are lots of people who like anime and they like manga, right? And
yeah,
they want to know why.
Are wrong.
They want to know why our comics industry can't be more like the manga industry, which is still something resembling successful. It's still living and breathing well.
Do you want to see Wolverine making the
it's not that
go face or whatever?
No, it's not any of that. Okay.
No, he's right.
What it is,
I swear to God, if somebody
Ayrton, hold on, let him finish. Let him finish.
Sorry.
What it is is that if we were to get American manga, right, and have even a relatively similar level of success, not just would you have to put the artists into sweatshops, right, but there goes your color, there goes your high quality paper, there goes a lot of the things that define American comics, because now your comics are black and white. I mean, they're black and white grayscale, they're very classic, they smell nice, they look good, but they're still black and white, right? And yet,
Yeah.
you can do 40, 30, 50, 120 pages as a little booklet when you're working 16, 17, 18-hour days in a box and getting paid peanuts for it. You
That's how
don't
you get through
actually,
it.
yeah, but you don't actually want American comics to go the way of manga, but you think you do, because you see the quality and you go, well, I want that quality. It's like that quality comes with costs.
Well, here's my question. Okay, and this has nothing to do with the new universe. So we've gotten off the rails, but we stayed on the rails longer than we ever have before. So
That's true. See what happens when I get really pissed off and start yelling? We actually stay on topic.
About 2 hours. That's impressive.
So when you talk about American manga, there are a couple of ways to accomplish it with our current system. Shorten the amount of titles you have. You make everyone go back to drawing the Marvel way, which we talked about off air. You make everyone go back to drawing in a similar fashion, and you put a team of artists and a writer on one manga, and you put one manga out for Spider-Man every month, where you have 3 or 4 artists drawing 30-something pages apiece, and one writer writing the entire cohesive story, and one letterer doing each page. Now, those letterers and those writers might get a little assed out, but their pay would increase because they'd be doing the same work they'd be doing for 3 or 4 comics. So, because it's a page rate. All of these companies operate on a page rate.
Well, that's where we also run up into that wall that makes you not want a Jim Shooter. Is that Jim Shooter comes from an era where artists and authors work for the company but own nothing. They didn't have a say in the creative process. You simply did what you were
manga
told.
creator has any say in the process.
And it's abysmal. It's horrifying, because
Is
the
it?
people that do have it absolutely is. Because what that means is that only a very few key creators ascend to the highest heights of making work that they then get to dictate whatever the fuck they want, however they want it, for decades until they die.
That's not true.
It's very stagnant.
I will contest that.
What about
And
Finland?
hold on, Ayrton. The entire basis of the show is highlighting creators that have done just that, sometimes as their first foray into comics. Now, whether they sink or swim is solely dependent on the quality of their work and their marketing ability. But
All
there's
I'm
nothing
saying-
out there saying that there can't be a marketing team put together that offers their service to some of these crowd-funded comics. Like, that's the next step, I think.
not
I
at
think
all.
that I think that a marketing team needs to come together and launch their services to crowd-funded comics exclusively. And if you want to cut them into your crowdfund, and the money that you make selling your book, and the more money you're going to make based on having a marketing team, they will definitely say, hey, a 2% interest in this comic book, because we're going to get it up to $500,000.
Oh, no. All I'm saying is that the manga industry, which is currently under assault by a major conglomerate called America.
Yeah.
Because they found that they can make more money and more manga faster, more anime faster, by appealing to a lowest common denominator storytelling form called moe, is incredibly stagnant. And that's part of the reason why they're having a struggle. It's very similar to the struggle we're having here, because we're stagnant. And part of that is because there's a disconnect between the idea that the companies need to have a say, but the artists and creators also need to have a say. And if we go back to the days of no say at all, it's going to be bad, because it will be a backslide to a darker, less functional time. But we already know from living in it that absolute creator freedom doesn't work either, because for every absolutely genius piece you get, and some of them are really great, you get White Ninja. You get so much garbage.
I mean, I don't know. I think that I don't think that American comics need to become manga, but I do think that there is something to be learned from the ideology of if it works, and we're going to complete it. If it doesn't work, we're going to end it gracefully.
Well, that's what I was saying. I wasn't saying that American comics needed to become manga. What I was saying is that there are people who have this dreamy thought process that if we were just like manga, we'd be better. And it's like, well, no. You look at these comics, these ostensibly bottom of the barrel comics, because these are comics for Free Comic Book Day. These are $1 bargain bin comics.
Oh, New Universe books? Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right?
My New Universe collection, like,
pay me $1 to take them off their hands.
I've got a short box full of the New Universe. Every book that I've been able to collect. I think I'm missing like 8 from the entire series.
Right. These are not great quality comics, but when you think about the work that went into them, they are evidence of excellence in practice.
Right.
Because they still got the book out and they got the book done. And if corporate hadn't screwed them, if they'd had the money to do what they wanted to do, it might have been great. But at the same time, if they had nothing but freedom, it could have been just as bad, if not worse. Because we've seen what completely uninhibited creative teams get.
Right.
We can go
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Captain Marvel.
Sorry, the cigar.
Miss Marvel. Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
Speaking of Kamala Khan, did you guys see that the publisher for the Avengers game was complaining about not even breaking even on their production costs?
Oh, you mean because that game failed the week it came out?
Yes.
Because it's a looter shooter that has no content and nothing to do?
Oh, that's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah, but,
like I'm waiting on it to go on sale for $5 and I'll buy it just to stream how.
Do you want to know what's funnier? Do you know what's funnier?
Huh.
There's a successful Marvel game in the same genre that doesn't look half as bad.
Spider-Man?
No, it's called Marvel Heroes Omega. It's Marvel Heroes by way of Diablo.
Oh.
And it's fun.
What platform is that on?
That's on Steam.
Oh shit! I'm gonna get that tonight then.
It's fucking free. I'll just install it. Yeah.
Shit, we'll play that together.
I have a max level basic Punisher.
Oh no, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna start new characters. But yeah.
Oh no, I'll start new characters. But it's actually structured in such a way that they want you to spend money for their in-game currency. I've never done it.
We're not gonna do that.
But I'm just saying. It's actually fun. It's actually structured well. It's a successful game.
I mean, if it's free, I might put $20 towards it, and I got.
It's literally.
I think I owe you $15 for games, so I'll send you $15 to put $15 in.
You literally end up asking yourself, why did they follow good money that was successful with bad money that utterly failed?
Well, here's the thing. I owe you $15 in Steam gifts, so what I'll do is shoot me a link, and I'll send you $15 and $15 in in-game currency, and we'll just see how far we can get on that.
Oh, sweet! I mean, I've been through it once before, so like we can beat regular. It's Nightmare and Hard that are going to be a little crunchy.
Nah, it's cool. We'll just loot until we get there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, with a $15 start, we'll be fine.
Look! I'm uninstalling Mortal Kombat X on this premise. I am making space for this game so we can go waste time playing Marvel Heroes Omega.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll sit here and do color commentary.
Yeah,
I think I've got an upper level Moon Knight too.
What do you think about a Wednesday show doing that? Or no, not Wednesday. That cuts into work. You say Thursday show?
And anything really. I in fact just freed up a Friday night.
Friday it is.
By quitting a game.
Well, we'll talk about this off air. I'm not committing to any more show shit live on air because I don't want anybody to think it's set in stone after this shit.
Well, no, you don't have to
swear
be
to
there.
God.
I mean, we'll be there to play, but I mean, you can be
mean,
there for color
I swear
commentary
to
if
God,
you're free.
This is my last rant. Anytime you bring up another series or book or whatever live on air, I'm going to say maybe, and I'm going to do at least 8 minutes of research on the book before I say yes to it. 1 minute for each of these shit bags that we had to read today, and an extra minute just so I can sit there and drink myself into oblivion just in case.
Look. If Ayrton wants to be Mr. Naysayer, I will go dig up 4 more people or 3 more people from Old Man Gaming.
Oh, I'm not being naysayer.
Right?
I don't have the hardware to play
and I will get them on this because it's free, so even Coyote can download it.
What I'm saying is, what Ayrton's saying is he can't play it at all. He's just saying that whether or not he's going to commit to being color commentary.
Oh no, I grok that. I'm just saying I will go dig up people so we can do this whether he comes along or not.
Anyway, the last 30 seconds, gentlemen, plug your shit and get us the fuck out of here.
Go ahead, RuneKnight.
Okay, well, since I just name dropped it, coming soon to an internet near you is Old Man Gaming, which will be another Discord channel and another podcast. This one focused on tabletop gaming, role-playing gaming, video games, and other game shit, but emphasizing grumpy old grognards who don't like how things have changed, because back in my day, we liked it when it had dirt. We have been graciously hosted by Church of Failure at least once before with our World of Darkness game, and hopefully
we'll get to do another installment of that.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get to do some more of that shit soon.
All right, and go check me out, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Ayrton McCartney. It's all the same shit. I made it easy, where I peddle music and music accessories. I got some
you got a
some
show
fun
tomorrow?
Stuff going on over there. Maybe.
Yeah, I thought you specifically had someone you called out for showing up tomorrow.
Yeah, maybe. I'll let you guys know.
Okay.
Maybe this time I won't oversleep.
Yeah, right. But yeah,
right.
check it out. Music Talk over on Ayrton McCartney, where I interview musicians. We bullshit about random stuff. Church tries to embarrass me over there.
Tries, in quotes.
Tries. It's a good time.
All right, get us the fuck out of here.
All right. Good night, everybody. Send any leftover alcohol to my P.O. box, and so I can forget this whole last week of having to read this shit.
All right. That will be it. Late night.